This is Hannibal here from The Hannibal TV on YouTube. I see it all over the wrestling sites today because it's a slow news day. People are talking about, as I put my cowboy hat on the proper way, Dusty Rhodes' 10-year anniversary since his death at 69 years old, only he didn't make 70, of kidney disease. Please let me know your thoughts on him in the description. I did put my The Hannibal TV Dusty Rhodes playlist in the comment section. I've interviewed a lot of people about Dusty Rhodes. It seems like if you were in any type of competition with him at the top, he could be very heartless and brutal. If you weren't in competition, or if he could get the rub off of you, he would be very good to you. However, there are some people that he teamed himself with to get the rub off of them and then got rid of the person after he got as much publicity from the person. He was a good talker, for sure. My favorite matches of his were with Billy Graham. I do remember the first time I saw him live was against Randy Savage at a house show at the Ottawa Civic Center around 1990. There's two things I remember from that show, and it was around the time of WrestleMania 6. I can't remember the exact month, but it was in 1990. That was the first crowd. I started going to WWE events in 89 when wrestling was still hot. And there was some good crowds after that when they had bigger stars like Hogan or did TV tapings. But the Dusty Rhodes main event against Macho Man was the first crowd I can remember that the building wasn't packed. They did not have a good crowd for that. And also, both Sapphire and Sensational Sherry no-showed that show. So they were supposed to have a wrestling match against each other. So I remember there were 7 matches scheduled. We only got 6 matches that night. I only met, well, I was around him when I did my WWE Florida Championship Wrestling camp in May of 2009 in Florida. He was there for all 5 days of the camp. And I do remember he did like me as a wrestler, and I'm sure he had something to do with me getting hired, which, by the way, for the people that say I was never hired, I was hired. My contract was rescinded due to Abdullah the Butcher giving me Hep C, which was proven not only in court in Canada, but in the US, and his appeals were thrown out in both Canada and the US. He's had numerous lawyers on the cases over the years. He's probably had a total of about 6 lawyers. I know he claims that he never knew about the cases. He's had about 6 lawyers, and I'm saying that on the record. And when you are subpoenaed for cases, it's done by a process server. They let you know exactly what's going on, and he was well aware of what's going on, and he was well aware of when he was lost, when he fraudulently conveyed numerous properties that he had to get out of having them repossessed. But I won't go too much down that road, but my contract was rescinded due to that. Then I had to go and pay about $80,000 of an experimental treatment to get cured. But what my point of that story was Dusty Rhodes, after my promo, before my match, actually came out of the office where he was at the back, and he told everybody, that's how you do a promo. He actually came out of the office. So, I mean, I remember taking that as a good compliment. Didn't have the best experience with Goldust. He's admitted to being a drug addict. He ripped me off really badly, as well as a promoter in Edmonton back in 2007 for shows we were going to do with him, where he totally ripped us off and worked us. Got half of his money up front, then called and gave us some story that if we didn't send him the second half, he wouldn't be able to come. We stupidly sent it that he no-showed the shows, and he lived in Jacksonville at the time. Jacksonville to Alberta was an extremely expensive flight, and he actually killed the town. because we tried to come back the next year. We had 1,000 that year. We tried to come back the next year. There was less than 300. So, you know what? Addiction is a bad thing. I won't hold that against him. I've never met Cody, but I will say I believe the stories that Dusty Rhodes. Oh, the other thing is he's thought of as a creative genius. Yes, he was creative, but he was never a successful booker. He put Eddie Graham's company out of business. Crockett Promotions, when he was booking, he forced them to sell. J.J. Dillon has been on the record, too, saying he was constantly having to defuse issues with Dusty and Flair. Like, there was a lot of heat between those two at various times. Of course, once they were no longer in competition, that heat went away and they became friendships. He also buried superstar Billy Graham in NWA, and they were enemies for a period of time over that. Billy Graham famously said Ric Flair at one of the Great American Bashes gets his own helicopter, and on that same car, Dusty Rhodes asked Billy Graham to take a pinfall from Sam Houston and was having him job to Barbarian on house shows all the time. Why was he doing that? Because he didn't want Billy Graham to get over because he had a similar rap. That's just a fact. But again, once years went by and Dusty was back affiliated with WWE, Billy was off and on with WWE until the time of his death. I do believe he had some type of Legends deal when he died, even though one of the main reasons he died was running out of money to take care of himself. Dusty Rhodes' turnbuckle champion was also not successful from what I understand. So again, he may have had good ideas. Did the ideas translate into money? No, they never did. That's just the fact of it. So I don't have anything against him. As I said, from my personal in-person experience with him, he was very nice to me. And I know he was one of the people that recommended that I get hired. It's too bad. I mean, I could only think of, just because, say what you want about me, I am on the road to 500,000 subscribers and I've never been in a company. I've never been in a mainstream company. Imagine if I had been. Someone told me today you have 3 times the subscribers of Kevin Nash. And I love Kevin Nash. I'm not taking anything against him, but I mean, for somebody that's never been in a major company, due to I'm no politician, I speak my mind, I speak the truth, I don't suck up to people. I've done pretty well for myself, so it would have been interesting to see. Yeah, Billy, Jack, and Dusty were on and off. Mark, I never have heard of MCW. But there's my thoughts. Again, I'm totally neutral towards him. Dustin, I wish now that he's making all this AEW money, he would send me the money that he ripped me off back then back. I know he never will. I mean, that's just the type of guy he is, but I'm happy he's off drugs. And Cody, he's been a success. Would he have had these opportunities had he not been a second-generation star? No. But he's made the most of it, so I congratulate him on that.